Brothers and sisters, good evening. We are still in Christian personal relationships. Talk number 6, relating with people outside of CFC. Our topic outline: A. Introduction. B. Relating with people outside of CFC. C. Dealing with conflict situations. And D. Conclusion. In our last talk, we were able to cover conflicts inside CFC. And we understood that it is much easier to handle conflicts inside CFC because we have something in common. We have our covenant and our formation teachings. And sure enough, it makes it easier for us to communicate and talk straight and resolve conflicts. However, since we are in this world and not all people are members of CFC, then we have to relate with those inside and outside of CFC. We have to relate with everyone. And our ongoing relationships that has taught us how to relate would include our family, our spouse and children, our friends, our neighbors, and our co-workers. Now all of this have taught us how to treat or relate, because some of them are already members of CFC, while a good number are still non-members of CFC. So with people inside and outside of CFC, we are taught first how to relate with those inside. And according to 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 22, now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth so that you have sincere love for each other, love one another deeply from the heart. So brothers and sisters, that's how we treat, that's how we relate with our brothers and sisters inside the community. We love each other, and that is our covenant. However, for those outside of CFC, according to Colossians chapter 4 verse 5 to 6, be wise in the way you act toward outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. Just imagine, brothers and sisters, always full of grace. That's how you relate with those outside of the community. Relate with wisdom and tact, with charm and wit. And brothers and sisters, every time when we interact, we relate with those outside of the community, we always treat it as an opportunity for us to draw them closer to our Lord, a chance for us to save souls. We have different ways of relating with others outside of CFC because we have no common agreement like our covenant and formation. What works inside CFC may not work outside. For example, reproof or correction. For people outside of CFC, they will consider it as a criticism. Me against you. I am right, you are wrong. It is felt like it's not a correction as love. Brothers and sisters, in some instances, when you correct someone, they might even say, Mind your own business. What works inside CFC may not work outside, just like asking forgiveness. For us inside CFC, we feel unburdened, it's liberating, and we feel happy. However, when you do that outside of CFC, it may even irritate them. They do not know how to receive it and they do not know how to react. Ngayon ka nga, sorry kay boss. Sorry kay bay. Maingon na nimo nga. Ay, wala kaso talaga. And sometimes, when you say sorry, they will even think, sa kani, basig na ating tuyo na ako. So when we relate with others outside of CFC, we need wisdom and sensitivity. Not just one way of relating. Our ways in CFC can sometimes be helpful or sometimes may not be received well. Thus, in CFC, because of our commitment and trust relationship, we can be more direct and handle things more clearly. Mas klaro ang atong isulti, masabtan, and in fact, sometimes there's no need for words. With just the expression in CFC, we understand that it comes from the heart. And this may not be the case outside of CFC. Now let's proceed to dealing with conflict situation. According to Romans 12, verse 18, be men and women of peace. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. So brothers and sisters, it's really a challenge because you have to be at peace with anybody outside of CFC. In CFC, everything can be worked out, but outside of CFC, not necessarily, but only if it's possible. Living in peace with others is not entirely up to us. Dili tanang higayon nga pwede na tumabuhat. There are instances na lisod yun. To some extent, brothers and sisters, we have to bend backwards to avoid conflict and to establish peace. In Titus chapter 3, verse 1 to 2, it says, remind the people to be subject to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready to do whatever is good, to slander no one, to be peaceable and considerate, and to show true humility toward all men. Naatay amo, brothers and sisters, and then naamoy conflict. Maski unsa ka sakit sa dughan, whatever it tells us to do as part of the job, we follow. We will not make things difficult. Maintain peace. Be men and women of peace. Have a non-judgmental spirit. In Romans 2, verse 1 to 4, therefore you are inexcusable, O man, whoever you are that judge, for wherein you judge another, you condemn yourself. So, tanaw, di kita pwedeng mo judge. We do not judge because we are condemning ourselves. Avoid self-righteousness. We're here by God's mercy. We rely on kindness, patience, and forbearance. As human, dali ka na to nga maka-ingon nga eksakto ta. Nakita mo ay right, niya, kana sila sayo. We have to understand na even if we are right, to maintain peace, to be at peace, we have to be patient. We have to be kind and just tolerate forbearance. Just tolerate them the way Jesus Christ tolerated the pains that he went through. Ang ato argid layo ra kayo kumpara sa iyang giagian. And be cooperative, obedient, and ready to serve. Do something good for them. Buhatan lang gid ang tanang kaayuhan, maayo para nila. Serbisyuhan, labi na atong mga boss, mga amo nato. While to some extent, nakadisgusto ka wa ka kauyon sa iyang pagdala. And it has turned into a conflict. Continue to serve. Continue to be obedient. And yet, be firm and bold. Be ready to make a defense. According to 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15, always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do this with gentleness and respect. Masin tuod og imong gitubag, ready gyud ka mo tubag. Pero pagtubag nimo, while very firm, but very gentle and respectful. You put up with as much as it is right to. First, establish a good relationship. Unsay imong buhaton or tanan imong buhaton, just to do it right and maintain a good relationship. Although that's first and foremost, maintain a good relationship, establish a good relationship. Then, be more forbearing with people. Taas kag pasensya. And always remember, our aim is to bring them to the Lord because our actions will reflect the love of Christ. So if they see Christ in us, there's a good chance that they will start to listen to us. Sometimes we're called to be heroic. In Matthew 5, verse 38 to 42, it says in 38, submission. When you submit, it's suffering evil for his cause without seeking personal revenge. Sakripisyo jud kayo. Pero wa gyud ka maguna-una o balos. In 41, whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. Rather than resist, go with him peaceably 2 miles if needed. Tanawa lang. Ang imuhang kasakit sa kalipay speakas, imo yung punan pa gani para ma-feel niya na okay ra. Peaceably. If beyond what is right, kung beyond na sad sa katarungan, separate to some degree. So, distansya sad ka to some degree. No? For example, kung ang conflict is not anymore about right or wrong, it's already a question of probably your principles or your dignity. You might even consider quitting the job or even see your friend less often. Distansya sa cool off. Or kung kuyog mo sa dorm, you move out of the dorm. Now take note that separation does not mean lack of love. Wala na nagpasabot nga, wala na ka nagmahal sa niyan. It simply means it makes no sense to keep relating the way we have been. Di na kinahanglan imong ipadayon pang inyong relasyon nga inana ka serious di ay ang implication. So you keep some distance, you let it cool off. And then the temporary break or limited degree of distance will provide the avenue for one to realize. Kasi makauna na siya. And then it may be the best thing to do for a Christian. Do not fight back. In Romans 12:14, bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse. Tanawa. Bless, do not curse. Ayaw gyud og tungluha ang mga naglisod-lisod nimo. Romans 12, verse 17, repay no one evil for evil, providing right things before all men. Ayaw gyud sukli ang dautan, ug dautan pod. Ang imo ra gyung ihatag, kaayuhan sige. That's how you relate with people outside of the community in terms of crisis like conflicts. In Romans 12, verse 21, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Di jud ka magpadala sa dautan. Kay kung magpadala ka, dautan sa ka, but ang imong kaayo mo'y modala sa dautan. Now, all of us accept that this is really a hard teaching. Pero, kung ang itudlo sa Ginoo, that's the Lord's way. Nakahinundo mo, katong tuwang slap in the face. According to Matthew 5, verse 39, if someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. Pagkalisuran. It's really hard, but that's the Lord's way. However, take note, this is only applicable to instances of persecution and when tempted to take revenge. So, kana applicable rin na sa panahon nga kanang gisakit lang ka ba o kanang nagplano ka mubalo sinoon. Because it's different kung it's already self-defense. Imagine sa palungon ka, okay lang, hatag yung pikas. Pero ang isang palong kutsilyo, you have to do self-defense. Now, in this world, we are bound to experience evil. Di yun nato na malikayan, brothers and sisters. You will always face difficulties, struggles, conflicts. But we are also called not to fight fire with fire. The same wrong way, overcome by evil. So they get mahimo ang a tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Kay kana nga binuhatan is still evil, and if you do it, then you are overcome by evil. You have to do it right. You have to be good. And rather be persistently good and overcome evil. See? Kung sa may dautan nga gibuhat, tubangan yung maayo para ma-overcome ang evil. Have faith that God's goodness is stronger. Good shall triumph. Ang maayong buhat mo daog yun. Ang di maayo, apil di yun na. So, mo ginay ibutang nimo sa mga kasing-kasing. Have faith of God's goodness. Kay ang tanan, iya naman ang nadaog. Kita lang may gatagan taniya o grace to experience. And we are not called to experience peace, but to be men of peace. Matod pa sa Luke 12, verse 51. Do you think I came to bring peace on earth? No, I tell you, but division. So may pasabot brothers and sisters? Because He knows that we belong to Him. So He's now showing that division between us and those who do not belong to Him. Mas kinaagan sa pamilya, naas to mga igsuon, sa itong ginikanan, naas sa ato ang mga silingan. They are the people that we are to reach out because they belong to the other side. We are divided from them because we belong to God. So, reach out, help them become closer to God. So be one whose heart, soul, and behavior are set upon making peace around us. So ikaw mo'y peacemaker yun. Ikaw mo'y mo hatag kalinaw. In your presence, they will start to feel that when you come, it seems that the surroundings become peaceful. So we are men of peace. And tinood, we may not experience external peace, but peace in our heart and being. Kay maskin tuod og kalisod ang atong giatubang, but because of our faith, we feel at peace in our hearts. Conclusion. Kumandahin ta, brothers and sisters, dali gyud. We are in the world, so we need to relate to many people. If you look at the extent of CFC covering the nations, we can still see there's a big gap between us and the rest of the population of the world. So when we go out, we have to relate with them. We relate with many people outside of CFC. And we need to relate well in ways different from dealing with brethren. We are to be peaceful, patient, forbearing, etc. So, lahi ra gyud ang atong pagtatanyag nila kay wa man tay something common with them. So be at peace with them, be patient, show them the love of Christ. And lastly, by the ways we relate, we are to be the light of the world. Kita ang kahayag sa kalibutan. In parting Matthew 5 verse 14, it says, "You are the light of the world." Brothers and sisters, all of us are the light of the world. Be that light, shine. Thank you very much, and may God be praised.